All right, so from the last time I cut into this video, this is part two. I have since put the heads on. We cleaned out the water jacket area, put the dowels in, cleaned out that water jacket, put our Felpro gaskets on facing forward, um, so that the water moves correctly because there are passages that are blocked off with the Felpro. And then we set the heads on the dowels and we had them mocked them up, made sure everything was good. A couple little tricks when you're twisting these in, make sure they hand twist in first. If you start getting a lot of resistance and you can't finger tighten those, there's something in there binding. So back it out, clean out the gunk, clean out the dirt, clean out. Maybe you have to run a tap back through it or something. But make sure you can finger tighten all of these before you go ahead and snug them down. And then another thing is with these TrickFlow heads on a 5.0 block, I got these reducers, and TrickFlow sells them and they're really ridiculously priced at like 50 bucks. And there's others that sell them, 60, 70, $80 with other brand names like AFR heads, things like that. They sit in there and they reduce the borehole size of your head because these were supposed to be larger bolts and these are the 5.0 size. And so I bought TrickFlow, which end up being the same thing as ARPs. They are ARP bolts. They say right there ARP. This is the TrickFlow kit. Their head bolt kit's 10 or 20 bucks cheaper than ARPs, and it's the same thing. So this is the TrickFlow kit, and it's a little cheaper, but you're still getting ARP bolts. And this is for the 5 liter. And so I've got that sitting in there, and then you'll see the ARP bolt. I got a little ARP, the anti-seize grease, the torque for the torque spec, and slide that in there, and I want to be able to finger tighten that. So I did that for all 5 here, 10, 15, and 20 over here. And then again, I can finger tighten it in there. There's no dirt, there's no debris, and it's going to give me no problems. And then so in the next video, I've got everything set up. I'm going to use a tool that I picked up at Summit for $15. It's the TrickFlow. This is the TrickFlow length checker, and I bought it for the lengths that I thought I might end up with. About, it says there's about 6.1 to 7. There it goes, focus a little bit. And so I'll adjust this out, and this will slide down into the, I believe these are 5/16 guide plates, and then that will give me, I'll set that on my rocker, and that'll give me as I adjust the rocker. And so I've got, let's see, comp cam roller rockers. The nice feature about these is they're heavy aluminum. They have this aluminum acts like a sound absorber. If you can think of heavier the rocker, the more dense the material is, it will tend to chatter. These are lighter, and the material acts kind of like a sound absorbent because aluminum generally is not as dense, so it sonically will absorb sound. If you go with like Magnum roller rockers from Comp, they're going to chatter a little bit. They're steel and they're lightened, and they have kind of a neat look to them. They're on the box here. These are the Magnums. They're all steel, but they'll tend to make a little more noise throughout the roller rocker because the steel on steel just does not absorb sound like aluminum does. So it'll sit on here like so. And I'll get all those on there, and then the length checker, I'll set that down in there before I put the roller rocker on, and then I'll adjust this until I get my roller rocker to sit center on that valve. So here's way too far out, and there's a point where it's just too far in, but once you get that length that you need, you can adjust your, there we go. It's about center there. So I'll just take a Sharpie, sharp right on there. Set these up, and I'll run them through. These are hydraulic roller rockers, so you want to make sure that you get run it through a couple times to get some oil in here, pump it up, and then check your length so your length is correct. I'm going to get a set of checker springs because I still have to check my valve clearance. These are good up to 0.6, so they'll move pretty deep into the cylinder bore. And I've got the TrickFlow studs for the TrickFlow twisted wedge pistons that I talked about in my earlier videos and showed you how they're cut to make this all work together properly and not have any piston to valve clearance issues. So before I snug it all down, I'll get my rod length, run my valve train through, and those will be, there'll be another video or two before I even get to the point where I can snug all this down and be done with it, and then I'll have to move on to my intake manifold. So there's always another step, but I'm taking my time, and this is a project, so it's not my daily. So it's as quick as you want to make it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like my videos, and I'll keep making them. Thanks.